Hello, Alex here for StepByStepMusic.com. Welcome to today's lesson on diminished 7 chords, part 2 in the series. In the previous lesson, we learned how to build diminished 7 chords using scale degrees, including the notorious double-flatted 7. In this lesson, we will learn how the diminished 7 chord is unique among all 7th chords, and how we can take advantage of this, particularly on the guitar. Getting all possible 12 chords with one shape and just 3 positions. There's no other chord that gives so much and asks so little. What makes these chords unique is that every single note of the chord is separated by the exact same distance, including the octave. Let's check it out. So here's what the diminished 7 chord looks like. It's got the 1, the flat 3, the flat 5, and the double flatted 7. And as you can see as we lay this out, each of these notes is separated by exactly 3 half steps. So that's 3 notes on the piano, or it could be 3 frets on the guitar, but it's exactly the same. We call that a minor third, or usually call that a minor third in music. So I have minor third written here. And each note is a minor third away from the next one. And this is the key that makes everything fit together. This last minor third makes it truly symmetrical. Since these notes are all the same distance apart, any one of them could be considered the root, which means that I don't have one single diminished 7 chord here. I've got 4. I've got a 4-note chord, and any chord can be the root, which means that it could be any one of many diminished 7 chords. If this is an A diminished 7 chord, then my root is an A, and my flatted third is a C, my flatted fifth is an E flat, and my double flatted 7 would be a G flat. Now that's if A is 1, so we're thinking of A as 1, C is the flatted third, so on and so forth. But what if A is not 1? What if we call C 1? Well, it's still a minor third to my flatted third, which would be, this would E flat be a flat third now, flat 3. It's still going to be a minor third to get to my flat 5, so this G flat is now a flat 5, and it's still a minor third to get to my last note, which would be my, what it was my 8 in my A chord, but now it's my A, right? Still an A, but it's a double flatted 7 now. Any one of these notes can be the root of its own chord. And here's how this pans out. We could have an A here, could have a C, an E flat, and a G flat. And if we carry this down and we call that C a 1, we've got the same chord. And if we carry this E flat down, we call that one a 1, we've got the same chord. And 10 points if you get the next thing I'm going to say. If you carry this G flat down and you call it a 1, we've got the same chord, people. It's 4 chords in one. They're all the same chord. They're all the same set of 4 different notes. Now, as a full disclaimer, I am a bass player, but I gotta tell you, what chord we're playing, what we're gonna call this chord, this diminished 7 chord, really is determined by what note the bass is playing. Traditionally, the bass plays the root. So if the bass is playing an A, you've got an A diminished 7 chord. If the bass is playing a C, you've got a C diminished 7 chord. Bass is playing an E flat diminished 7 chord, bass is playing a G flat diminished 7 chord. So when we're searching for what to call the chord, we'll name it after whatever the bass is playing. Fair enough? I think it's important that I introduce you to a very fancy term here called enharmonic equivalents. That means we can call a single note by more than one name. In English, it's called a homonym, meaning that it sounds the same, but it's spelled differently, might have a different function. What this means for us is that we may be looking for a full diminished 7 chord, have already found it, and we don't know that we found it. So in the previous example, we said that, well, this could be an E flat diminished 7 chord. Well, it could also be a D sharp diminished 7 chord. So E flat, D sharp, they're the same note, and depending on the circumstances, someone who's writing the note down or communicating that note to you, or that chord to you, may choose one note or one chord name over the other chord name. So we could call this E flat diminished 7. We could also call this D sharp diminished 7. For the purposes of our discussion today, we don't really care why it's called one or the other, but we do want to know that if I'm looking for a D sharp diminished 7 chord and I have that A diminished 7 chord, right, where the E flat is over here, I could use this one as the root. I could call it a D sharp, and voila, I've got myself a D sharp diminished 7 chord. Again, same set of notes as the A diminished 7 chord. We're just going to call it a D sharp diminished 7 chord. Bass player, make sure you play a D sharp underneath that. Now, for guitar players, I want to show you the coolest part of all, and that was my promise at the beginning of the lesson. I'm going to show you the one shape that we use in only 3 positions to play all 12 possible diminished 7 chords. So here's my one shape. There it is. I've got my first and second fingers, 1 string or 2 strings apart, I guess you could say, starting on the D string, and I've got my fingers 3 and 4 on the other 2 strings, sort of between those, and then above that on the G and the E strings. I've got those 1 fret above that. And that's my full diminished 7 chord. Okay, trick question. What chord am I playing? Well, depends on how you want to think of it, or depends on what note the bass is playing. This note is an E, so I can very well call this an E diminished 7 chord. But this note here, that's a B flat or an A sharp, so I could call this a B flat or an A sharp diminished 7 chord. I've also got this note here, that happens to be a C sharp or a D flat. I could call this a C sharp or a D flat diminished 7 chord. And my last note here, that's a G. I could call this a G diminished 7 chord. That's 4 chords for one shape. Now, we've only got 12 notes in music, enharmonic equivalents aside. So I have 12 possible roots or 12 diminished 7 chords that I could build. So if I got 4 in one go, in one shape, how many shapes do I need to get all 12? Let's see, well, 4, add 1 more shape plus 4, that's 8. Carry the 1. 3. That's 3 shapes. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 shapes gives you all 12 chords. But we don't actually need new shapes, we just need new positions. I've got 4 of them here. I've got 4 of them here. And I've got 4 of them here. Now, if I go up 1 more time, yes, that's a new voicing of a diminished 7 chord. But let's see, let's check this. What note do I have here? Well, that's a G. That's my 5th fret on the D string. That's a G. And when I was down here, I already had a G on one of my notes. So this could be a G diminished 7 chord, or any of the others that I mentioned before, and I could slide up. And now this is a G diminished 7 chord, or any of the others that I said before, the E diminished 7, the B flat diminished 7, the C sharp diminished 7, or the D flat diminished 7, because those are enharmonic equivalents. I think you get the idea. So guitar players, here's how you find the chord that you're looking for, the diminished 7 chord that you're looking for. You make that shape, and then you put your hands somewhere where any one of those notes is the note that you need to be the root of the chord. So name a note. Any note, I don't care, random note. F! Okay, I think someone said F. Let's find an F diminished 7 chord. All I need to do is make the shape and then slide it up or down until any one of these notes is an F. So let's see, I know that I've got an F right here. This is a little hard to see there, but I have the 6th fret on my B string, 5th fret, same as the next string, so that's an E, so that makes that an F. And so here, if I put my fingers here, that's an F diminished 7 chord. If that's a little too high, I can move it down. I can find an F. Let's see. Oh, I've got an F right here. I've got an F on the D string, 3rd fret. That's also an F. This is also an F diminished 7 chord, or certainly could be considered an F diminished 7 chord. Step 1, make the shape. Step 2, slide it up or down the neck until you find the note you're looking for. In our next lesson on diminished 7 chords, we're going to talk about how we actually use these chords as a songwriting or a compositional technique. How do you take the chord that's completely symmetrical, that fits into no key whatsoever, and make it useful? I'm going to give you a bunch of songs as examples that use these chords, and we'll take a look at the traditional way that these diminished 7 chords are used. My name is Alex for StepByStepMusic.com, and thank you for playing along today.